All right, good morning. Welcome to our first ever COAACC virtual member meeting, where we wanted to come together so that we can provide the most current up-to-date information on what's happening as in relation to the coronavirus, COVID-19, how it's affecting many of our businesses and the resources that are available. What I want to say, first of all, to our membership is that we are posting updates all the time on our website and on social media. So if you go to coac.org, you'll see right at the top a big blue banner that says COVID-19 updates. And so as people are sending us stuff and as things are coming to our attention, we're adding them to that site. But then also in real time, we're posting things on Facebook, like grant opportunities, different pertinence as far as closures and what have you. Additionally, what I want to let folks know is that we're doing moratorium. I'm not harassing anybody. We're not coming after anybody for dues, okay? So we believe that's not the immediate, most important thing. So for the next, as far as I'm concerned, few months, we won't be asking anyone for dues. If we have new membership come in, they'll just be coming in. And what I'll do is go ahead, so that it's fair, because we have had some people that have already paid their dues for the year, and we'll have people after COVID pay their dues, but folks in this interim won't be. So we'll go ahead and do our best to be fair with that, right? But I know that that's not why we're here. Is not interested about the dues. What I want to do right away is jump into this stuff about the CARES Act. So first, just the lineup, so you know what's going on. We're going to have Jesse Mark from ECDI talking about what he knows on his side and what ECDI can do for your business. Alicia Wyatt from KeyBank will be on to discuss what Key's doing in relation to the CARES Act. And then we have Sandra Moody Gresham, who will be talking to us about insurance in this time, about your premiums, about different coverage and stuff that you can be thinking about. And then I asked Barnett McGowan to speak to us about your retirement. I know a lot of us aren't thinking about retirement right now because, it's a pandemic, but what can we be doing and how might that be a resource to you? So right away, I'm going to jump to Jesse.
Good morning, everyone.
Perfect. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for share what I know in this ever-changing, always constantly moving environment right now. And I guess one of the first things I'll tell everybody is just, if you jump out the window, make sure you're on the first floor. I think everybody's going to be okay at the end of the day, all right? For those of you that don't know me, I'm a relationship manager at Economic Community Development Institute. We are a micro lender. I'm going to tell you guys about our recovery loan product that we've developed. And I'll take a Q&A for anybody that may have questions about the economic injury disaster loan or the payment protection loan through the CARE Act. I guess first say that if you're taking the steps, everybody should apply for every single bit of money that they can right now. The cost of funds is extremely cheap. If you need it, use it. If you don't need it, put it back in the coffers for a minute, and then you'll find a use for it at some point eventually, whether it may be retaining your employees right now, holding back for working capital. You might even get some of this money and be able to apply it for marketing efforts or bolstering your staff. There's a couple of different ways that we look at business. It's either the startup phase, the stay-up phase, or the scale-up phase. And I think that everybody's been put in a position now to be in the stay-up phase. And these products that we have right now are allowing business owners and entrepreneurs to go into hibernation mode, so to speak. And we again want to make sure that everybody can come out in the spring. So the recovery loan that we have is totally separate from the EIDL loan, the EIDL loan, and the PPP loan. Okay, this is proprietary for us. So we are looking at extending capital to people. If you have not had any relationship with ECDI, You can get up to $20,000. If you have had a previous relationship with us and your loan has been above $50,000, then you would be eligible for up to $50,000. The use of funds is totally up to you for you to, get through this time in our country. The interest rate is 6% on this one. I know I sent Averi and Jill some information about this product yesterday. There's been one change recently just because we got some information back from SBA where, Averi, if you share with them, where it says 80-month term, that got scaled back to 72 months. Okay. And you'll have a deferment on that from the SBA portion of your loan for 6 months. Now, the way we do our loans, we have a couple of different funds that we pull together for folks. So, with us being a nonprofit microlender, we have money that we use from banks that we borrow, dollar for grants, city money, county money, state money, and of course, SBA dollars. So when we're packaging a loan to get you that 6% interest rate, you may have 3 or 4 different funds inside of that loan product. One of those would be the SBA component. The SBA component would, it might save you a couple $100 a month once the payment kicks in. But after that first couple of months, then you would still need to have the minimum payments after it's been deferred for the other loan funds that we have in the product. I don't want to confuse people too much today and get way too technical. I definitely want to share my information, let you guys know to contact me directly, and I can walk you through your individual situation, case by case, right? So we have this product, our recovery loan. Credit score needs to be 590 or higher. You must have had a business checking account and meet the SBA microloan eligibility requirements. A handful of those things are, comprised for what the SBA calls an E-Tran score. It's proprietary. It's kind of like a credit bureau score, but it's something that the only SBA uses. And it has a combination of different factors of, your credit, your DUNS, your LexisNexis reports, and and a couple other things that make that proprietary number. So those eligibility requirements are the E-Trans. It's also it's also your personal financial statement you have to submit. It's the application, of course. If you are not in default on any federal debts, past due on any student loans, or no payment arrangements of any of those different types of things, that would typically kick you out of the eligibility requirements. I know that we are assisting people with the EIDL loans. So with the EIDL loan, you have to apply with that directly through the SBA, right? The PPP loan that people are getting is people getting the applications through their bankers. Now, even though we're a lender, we do not have the PLP status. We're intermediary with SBA. So we don't have that status that where we can just write loans and package them ourselves out to the SBA. But the other institutions like your credit unions, your banks, do have the access to do those loans because they are full-fledged 7A lenders, right? And I know that Alicia probably talk about that here next. But go to your bank for the PPP loan. Go to KeyBank, right? And if you want to kind of hedge against the timing of these monies coming to us, because I know that's probably a question that everybody wants to know. When are the checks going to get cut? And when are people going to get deposits to be able to survive and continue to live? The conversation I had with SBA last week, they still don't know the full details of what these products are going to look like from the EIDL and the PPP. They're still working on the standard operating procedures for it. So I guess with that, I'll kind of be quiet and take some questions, or we're going to do questions after everybody speaks. Avery.
Well, if anyone has any immediate questions for Jesse, go ahead and raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask. But also, Alicia just joined us as well. So if she would, I can unmute you. And if you would like to chat from the KeyBank perspective, because Jesse kind of gave you a good intro. Alicia?
Hi, everyone. Okay.
Good morning.
Can you hear me, Avery? Can everyone hear me?
Mhm.
Okay, great. All right. So I actually just got off a conference call with our leaders. The PPP right now, the application has been paused. And the reason, I'm hearing two different things. The first thing is that the funding is getting low already. The $350 billion that was assigned was already running out. The other thing that I heard is that the SBA site is actually like overloaded. So my hope is, and I'm leaning more towards the fact that it's overloaded than the funds being out. So what I have been doing this morning is jumping on phone calls with my clients who were still getting documents together to simply come in, because I have clients that are existing KeyBank customers and they have to have business accounts with us. Otherwise, you can go anywhere and do the PPP loan, but all of the places that you go to are requesting that you have accounts. So I've had clients that came in on Friday, opened their checking accounts, and were able to get the application in almost the same day. I had somebody that did this yesterday. So my existing clients and clients that are opening accounts right away, we just have to get your online banking enrolled, and you can go ahead and do the PPP application. So the email that we just got out from our business leaders are no new applications except for people that can access their online banking access and people that KeyBank has sent out the links to. I don't know if that is what is being communicated on other banks, but that is how fast the money has gone. That is how fast and quickly the applications are being submitted. So as soon as I learned about this, Avery, as you know, and you put it up on your site, I've been sending you guys the information and sending updated information, but this $350 billion is set for 50 states, and every state has a lot of businesses that need help right now. So as you can imagine, small, medium-sized, and large businesses are taking advantage of this. So the clients that I've reached out to in the past, I'm telling them to come in to open their accounts really fast, as much as they can today, so that I can still submit the application for them. Because once you submit the application, we're not going to then say no, right? It just has to go in with some of the documents. So I'm hoping by now some of those documents that I had submitted about the Form 941, your payroll information, because the PPP is 100% based on your payroll, that's what you've already had at least some of those documents. So if anything, we could just come back to you and get the additional that we need, as long as we get something submitted. So I'll go over what it is. It is a 100% guaranteed loan from the SBA. KeyBank and other SBA lenders are able to submit these applications. If what they're doing is using your 2019 monthly average of your payroll expenses to determine a loan amount that you can receive. So you can, after you figure out the monthly average, you multiply that by 2.5 times, and that is the loan amount that you can receive. After you receive that money, you have 8 weeks to use it. 75% of it to be used on payroll expenses, at least 75%, and the rest of it can be used for lease payments, mortgage interest payments, or utilities. And if you use it within the 8 weeks for those things, you have the high likelihood of it being a completely forgiven loan. So it becomes essentially free money. So that's why, as you can imagine, there's been so many people come in and trying to get the application in. I sent to Averi, I think, on Sunday night, the most updated information that we needed for documents. The tax identification number, or EIN number, is also needed. And we need the mailing address, email address for everyone that is at least a 20% owner of the business. So for payroll, what is considered payroll is salary, wages, commission, any similar compensation, tips, vacation, parental, family, medical, or sick leave, your group healthcare benefits, retirement benefits, state and local taxes. What is not considered eligible for payroll is compensation of an employee over 100,000. So that means that doesn't mean you exclude the employee. It just means that you have to go max 100,000, and then everything else you cannot include. Taxes imposed or withheld under FICA, and any compensation of an employee whose principal residence is outside of the United States. So that's what is included under payroll. So as you can imagine, for some businesses that might seem small, but when you add the 2.5 times, it does give at least enough for you to make it through for 8 weeks, right? Which is the whole purpose of that. And what they're thinking is that they might then go to Congress and get additional funding at that point. But we are not sure how that would look. As you can imagine, that's a whole different ball game. Right now, we're only focused on the $350 billion that we have, and trying to get that in your hand. So as soon as I heard about it, that's one of the things that I did was to send that out, because I know Averi's platform is very, very important to see, for everyone to see. But if you guys have any questions, I'm able to assist as much as possible. And I can take questions now or later if that's what Averi would prefer.
All right, I'm gonna unmute everybody. If anyone has any questions, now is a good time. We'll try to do our best. Thank you for that information also, and that important update, because I know that everything is changing so fast, and that money has been out for what, 2 business days? So
that's right.
really demonstrative of the need.
So Averi, I have a question. This is Denise. Can you hear me? Okay. Alicia, they say this money is for payroll, but is this is for people who have been laid off, or is it to maintain your payroll through this period? What have you gotten any definition? I haven't seen that.
That's a great question, Denise. Okay, so for KeyBank, what they're asking for is your 2019, so from January to December 2019 payroll ledger, right? The 2019 payroll ledger should be broken down by employee. So there's a purpose for that, because they want to see who your employees were for 2019, and then we'll do the average of that times 2.5, and that's what they will use in order to determine your eligibility for the loan amount. But we are also asking for your payroll ledger year to date for 2020. It's the same information as above, but we want that to be broken down by month, because that will give us an idea of who you had employed up until the point that the economy started to go down, right? And once you do that, when you get the funding, the intention is for you to use that to either get people back to work, even if they had been laid off. The point is to get the money into their hands so they can survive this time and to get back to work.
Oh, great.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you. One more question, Alicia. I'm sorry. So these employees, according to the initial directive, was the requirement was that these employees be on your payroll again for 6 months after the loan is received. Right?
Not to my understanding. That's not from my understanding. What is important is what you do with the funds and how it is distributed within 8 weeks of you applying for the loan.
Okay.
What you do with it and ensuring that 75% of it is used for payroll expenses, and then the 25% being used for the additional things. So that is the lease lease payments, mortgage interest rate, interest amount, and also utilities. If it's used for those things, then it should be forgiven.
Thank you.
But you have 8 weeks to do that, 8 weeks to use the funds.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
Keep in mind, everybody, that this is a moving target. Just like Alicia shared with us, there's another change that happened today. So, you know, just everybody keep in mind that everything that you're hearing right now, and I know that the chamber's doing a great job of keeping everybody posted, but whatever you're hearing at this moment may very well get tweaked within the next 24 hours. So, you know, everybody keep that in mind too.
Yeah, this is such a crazy time, and everything is changing so very fast. So it's sorry, we got a mute going.
That was me, Alicia.
Sorry, Marcus, I just muted everybody again. Some of us are logged in multiple times, right? Because of technology. So we got our phones and we have our computers or tablets to do various things. So we'll try to watch the how we're muting devices. But I just wanted to echo that since things are changing so fast, make sure that you're doing your due diligence, and we're trying to condense it for you as best as possible because we're getting information from every single source. But definitely, at very least, try to keep up with what the governor says every day at 2 o'clock. As far as state level, keep your ears to the SBA as far as the federal level resources. And as we are getting those pieces of intel directly from the SBA and from our lender and banker friends and our friends at ECDI, we're trying to make it, because it really is, you guys are doing a great job of making sure that it's easy for anyone to understand, but it is so much information. And so we're trying to figure out what is the most immediately pertinent information to our business owners and then go from there. But please keep seeing all the information. And yeah, you guys are working really hard. We appreciate all of your hard work to make sure that our businesses don't get left behind in this time. Because yeah, you know, we all know how it goes. So if you have other questions, we'll do some more Q&A towards the end, but I want to go to our next speaker, Ms. Sandra Moody Gresham. And see, I need to unmute your phone. Test.
Hello there.
Hey.
All right. Well, let me thank you, Averi and Alicia. That information is valuable in the fact that it continues to change, in the fact that the money is moving out. I'm just hopeful that a lot of small businesses are accessing it, African American businesses in particular. So I just want to hit on a couple quick things relevant to health insurance and the property casualty insurance. Can you guys hear me okay? I hear a little maybe echoing.
Yeah, there's some weird echo that's happening.
You might want to mute the laptop.
Oh yeah, mute the sound on your laptop.
Okay, just hopefully that's better. I'm gonna just kind of keep rolling and be as brief as possible. So a lot of people are losing their health insurance as they are being laid off from employment, and the concern is, I don't have health insurance anymore. But if you had coverage, you have 60 days to enroll in healthcare.gov. So that is nothing new. That is special enrollment has always been available to people. But you do have a 60-day window. So if people are off and they've been off like 3 weeks, now's the time to apply for that coverage. So there's a continuation of coverage and no gap. And if your income is reduced and you're on Medicaid and your income is reduced and you're on the marketplace, you are also eligible to probably to reduce your premium with Marketplace. So you have to communicate to them that income will be reduced, thus your premium for your health insurance will be reduced accordingly. The other important piece is if you have no income, if you're waiting for unemployment to kick in, you may be eligible for Medicaid. So you can apply for Medicaid through their link. It is benefits.ohio.gov. And just apply. If you are denied there with Medicaid, you then can enroll with healthcare.gov again. And we can assist people kind of maneuvering these systems. But it's important if you got health insurance, if you lost it, to really address it right away, because if you get outside of a 60-day window, you can't get in the Marketplace, and then you're really out of coverage. Open up your communication from your insurance company. They're sending emails, they're mailing, as you may have heard through the governor's executive order, insurance companies cannot cancel your policy during this period. And right now, it's about to the end of May. They're suspending cancellations for non-payment. However, May, June, both of those premiums will be due. So they're not putting them on the back end or extending the payment period like loans. They are going to require it later. So we're advising clients to pay what you can. If you only can pay half the premium, send in half the premium. It'll just help you later to preserve that policy, because the insurance company is still requiring the premium after the suspension of coverage. So that's important to be mindful of. If you have a cash value life insurance, it's a means to try and find cash how to sustain your household. If you've had a whole life policy, universal life policy, these index policies you've had for years, you've been paying premiums, you may have some cash in there, which is another savings vehicle. Consider tapping that money, but be mindful on the back end. It may reduce, death benefit later when you need it at the time of death. Work with your advisors and your insurance professionals to make sure you're doing the right thing. But that is a source of funds if needed, and there is no underwriting or no requirement to access that money. On the property and casualty side, many of you probably already know that business income or business interruption coverage is not applicable in this time because pandemics, viruses, communicable diseases, they're all excluded in business policy. However, several states have proposed legislation to require insurance companies to provide coverage for that loss. In Ohio, two representatives in Ohio, Representative Kaufman and John Rogers, introduced House Bill 589. It's been about 2 weeks now that it was introduced. And it would require insurance companies to cover losses, deed losses for business interruption. And that means lost revenue. So the money that we're seeking for loans to address us in this time is insurance companies provide protection for these pandemics that will cover truly lost revenue, which covers all that overhead, payroll, etc. So, what's his name? Speaker of the House, Larry Householder, needs to be communicated with and encourage him to push this bill forward. Our state representatives, right in Central Columbus, State Rep Bernadine Kent, State Rep Erica Crawley, those are kind of the local districts. We need to encourage them to push this piece of legislation forward for the benefit of small business. Those who it would cover, if you had to have had a policy in force on March 9th, you have to have less than 100 employees. And again, you can see how this is targeted directly to small business. And those are the two primary criteria to be able to use your policy in this case. So you couldn't run out and get a policy and then expect it to respond. But if you had a policy in force and this legislation passes, you could now use that policy to help you. The final thing I want to mention, on your policy, you know, we're encouraging people to keep their insurance, keep your car insurance, keep your business insurance, your life insurance. As soon as you drop those things, something's likely to happen. However, now's the time to work with your agent or your advisor to tweak those. Maybe there's some coverages I don't need right now. If one of my cars is parked and I got full coverage on it because we're not going to work, we're working from home, maybe you can reduce some of that full coverage to liability only. If you got additional insurance for contract and you're not doing that contract anymore, take that off your policy. That might reduce your premium. So you got to look at ways kind of balancing risk at this time to preserve that policy, but maybe there's coverages in there that I'm paying for that I just don't need right now. And then you go back and revisit that policy, you know, when life changes. And you back up to make sure you're adequately protected. So we're here to help people get coverage, modify their plan. And, you know, we look forward to working with each other. And I didn't introduce myself. My name is Sandra Moody Gresham. My company is Dehan Enterprises, Insurance and Financial Services. And we're right here in Columbus. It can be reached at 614-238-35. I said that wrong. 614-238-3520. DehanInsurance.com. So I'm open to questions and helping, but as business people, we need to get our legislators involved and making sure they're making decisions in our best interest. And this time is when your professionals are really needed. So I encourage business owners to reach out and connect with their brokers, their advisors, their agents to help them maneuver some of the programs that they already have. So thank you, Averi.
Thank you, Sandra, for all of that good information, as always. I definitely wanted to let people know for sure that they can get back into healthcare.gov. You have, like she said, you have a 6-week period after your situation changes to get in there. You can also make sure that I put his information in the chat, and I'm also going to, as I copy and paste it, I'm putting all the speakers' information in the chat so you have it. But I just put Larry Householder's information in there. But she mentioned you could reach out to your own rep specifically. But he is the Speaker of the Ohio State House of Representatives. Because House Bill 589 has been passed, or similar legislation, like she says, has been passed in other states, and that would be incredibly helpful for so many business owners, especially as some of these other resource pots are getting drained so fast. Does anyone have any questions for Sandra? Unmuting everybody for a second. Any questions? All right. Want to get back, Barnett? Any questions?
No.
And if not,
no.
Okay, cool. It is your turn then. If you want to chat with us, we have Barnett McGowan from Voya Financial.
Yeah, thanks, Averi. Can everybody hear me? I'm seeing some nodding, so I'm going to go with yes. So really just want to talk briefly about the CARES Act. There's a couple of provisions that have been put in place that can help you with regarding your retirement accounts. So many of our members aren't going to be making required minimum distributions because they're not 72 in 2020. But if they are, or if they have family members, say parents or grandparents who are in that age group, then for 2020, required minimum distributions have been suspended. So if they haven't taken those out already, they don't have to take out a required minimum distribution for 2020. As far as getting funds, there's a couple of different ways that the Act has made funds available. We recommend that people should really think carefully before pursuing any of these, because obviously you're taking money out of a retirement account, which can adversely affect you when it's time to retire. And also there are tax consequences that you have to consider. But if you're in a situation where you're trying to save a house or a business or a car, it may be necessary to pursue these. So many plans are now going to start offering what's called a corona-related distribution. So if you've been diagnosed, you have a spouse or child who's been diagnosed, or you've been financially impacted. So that pretty much includes almost everyone in the country. You're able to make a distribution from your retirement account. The 10% penalty is waived if you're under the age of 59 and a half. And the mandatory 20% withholding is suspended, and that can be delayed for up to 3 years. But that tax does ultimately have to be paid. But the purpose is to allow you to access funds that you have saved for retirement to meet emergencies right now. There's also some provisions detailing loans. If you already had a loan out from an IRA or a 401k, 401a or 457 or 403b, and that was due this year, that loan can now be delayed for up to 1 year. And then the final provision is some plans are now going to start allowing you to take out loans between now and September 23rd if you've been impacted by coronavirus. And then those loan repayments can be delayed up to 1 year. And so that was all I had, Avery. And then if anyone has any questions.
Any questions for Barnett?
No.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, a couple other resources that I wanted to let you all know before we adjourn, because I don't want to take too much of your time. I know everybody has a trillion calls, but I wanted to make sure that you knew of. So Kiva, for instance, has no interest loans available up to $15,000. They increased their loan limit for the year. And then we have, let's see, Goldman Sachs. I heard yesterday on the governor's announcement that Goldman Sachs has allocated $20 million for Ohio-based businesses. Not quite sure yet what that means in practice yet, as all these things are so fastly changing, but we're going to reach out to our friends over at 10,000 Small Businesses at Columbus State to see what we can find out and share that information with you. Additionally, we're posting the other grant opportunities, and these are real life grants. If you can get the money, these are actual grants for your business. We're posting them on our website for you to go ahead. So like, for instance, like Google, if you already use Google AdWords, they're giving you free credit. If you have MailChimp, they're giving you free services for a while. Orange Barrel Media is offering free advertisement for local businesses, right? And so people seem to be pitching in and coming together to try to share the information with everyone and share do what they can to help folks, because this is unprecedented times that we're in here. So again, as we become aware of this information, we'll let you know. For our nonprofit partners, if you are providing emergency response in relation to COVID-19, the Columbus Foundation has grants available for you right now. They're taking applications on a rolling basis. So take a look at their website as well. Let's see. Yeah, no, those are really the most pertinent and pressing ones. There was another grant that it became due on Saturday from Verizon and LISC. They said that they will be taking another round of applications, but they haven't made the date available yet, and they're probably looking to see how much of the fund got used up this time. But those were the most pressing things that I wanted to share with you. And what we're going to do actually is we're going to keep coming back. All right, so Tuesdays at 10 is what we're going to shoot for. And if we'll make sure that you know by the Friday before if we're gonna log on for a call and who we anticipate having on with us. But we want to make sure that we hold space even when we can't hold space together for each other, to bring issues to the table and to bring resources to the table. Before I'm going to unmute everybody, so if anybody has any questions that they want to throw up to the group.
I do, Avery. This is Mark.
All right, go ahead, Mark. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my question's for
Jesse and or Alicia with KeyBank. I mean, I'm a self-employed attorney, and I don't have any employees as far as payroll. What, if any, of those SBA loan programs am I eligible for? And obviously, I got both of y'all's contact information. If you guys want me to talk to you offline, that's fine. But I figured I would try to get this question in before we adjourn.
You can apply for the idle loan, the economic injury disaster loan.
Hold on,
Right
Jesse,
now.
wait,
Right
wait.
now,
Jesse, pause.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
Say again, Fred.
I know that you can apply for both, but based on what Alicia just shared with us, it may sound like there may be a pause. I know for the PPP, last week when it opened up, it was for people that had employees, and there was a window that was supposed to open up this Friday for 1099, self-employed, subcontractor type of persons. But that may have just changed again. I know for the EIDL, the idle loan, you can apply for that right now. The thing is, when you're applying for it, it doesn't tell you or ask you what dollar amount you are entitled to or eligible for. That's why you have to supply the supporting financial information. And once it gets to the underwriter SBA, from what I'm understanding, they're making the determination of how much capital you're allowed to get approved for, right? And I also think it falls in the same vein with that $10,000 grant that people are talking about, that if you apply for it and you are denied for the idle loan, then that $10,000 advance that they give you turns into a grant for you. But if you are approved, then that advance just gets amortized into the rest of the life of the loan.
Okay. So it's called the idle loan and the PPP.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I may follow up with you, Noop, if I got additional questions.
I'm here for you guys.
Hi.
I think that's been a big consistent question that people are having on the if you're a business owner but you may not have employees or payroll, even if you do have folks that work with you or for you. So that information is really important.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so the Jesse is correct, self-employed individuals and or independent contractors are able to apply starting 410. So it's not just about the payroll that you give to the employees. They understand and expect that you will somehow pay or draws or compensation yourself.
And you said that kicks in April the 10th, Alicia?
It does kick in April 10th, correct?
Okay.
You can apply for the idle loan today. And I know there's been some differences with that, being able to apply online versus the paper. And now it's print the documents off and scan it back in online, to my most recent recollection.
Yes, is that documents available on the SBA's website?
For the idle loan? Yes. And I sent Avery yesterday the application for the PPP. This is a one-page application, but there's also additional.
You mean for the PPP, Jesse?
Pardon?
The PPP, the application you're referring to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the sample, you mean the sample one that was sent out by the SBA?
That's probably it.
Okay, so that's a guidance. What KeyBank is realizing is that and in fact, some people are saying that was leaked unintentionally. So if you take a look at what the SBA application itself is on their website, so here's exactly how it works. Each person that has an SBA, the authority to do SBA loans, have to create their own application. From there, in KeyBank's area, we have about 200 plus employees that are in the background who then can see the actual SBA application, where after you complete it on our side, we go in and plug the information in on the SBA side and submit that. So what we've noticed is that when we've submitted them under the SBA side, it's different from what that one-page application paper had said. So it is just a guidance. The information that you've provided to us that I've listed on the documentation, that is what you will need to make sure your application is submitted the right way.
Oh, look at you.
So does that make sense? I hope that helps. The other piece for everyone is if your loan is not forgiven, for example, you did not use it for this 75% for payroll and the 25% for the other things, it will then be converted into a 2-year loan at 1%.
Oh.
Okay, if whatever is not forgiven will be converted into a 2-year loan at 1%. So the whole goal, though, is to get to the forgiven part, right? If we use it the right way and make sure we're documenting how we're using it. But the whole point is if it does not get forgiven because there are other things that you may have used it for, it becomes a 2-year loan at 1%.
What? And do you know, Alicia, what's the average amount? I mean, I'm blessed right now. I've got a pretty good cushion, and I'm still working. You all know I'm still essential services, but I'm just looking at it as potentially something that I might be able to use down the road. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Well,
what's the average amount that they will disburse to somebody like me based on my income?
No, it's not based on that. Like you actually have to go out there and do the calculation to see based on your income what you would qualify for. There's no average amount. There are businesses out there with actually 500 employees who are doing this loan, right?
Oh, wow.
So, and there are people out there who are self-employed with just you that are also doing this loan. So it's based on payroll, but based on the average for the 12 months in 2019, the average monthly expense times 2.5.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're
think
welcome.
That's all exhaustive in terms of everything I had.
Yeah, I think they've made it that everyone should be able to benefit from it. It's just now getting it in. Now that's the thing, is to just like get the application in there. And they did leave again, independent contractors and self-employed individuals can start applying on Friday. What my sincere hope is, it's just an overloaded system with the SBA and not that the funding has actually run out. That's my sincere hope for all of us. But as I get information, I'll provide that to Averi, and she can update the website and update everyone else.
Okay. All right.
Hi, this is Kim.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me? Alicia, thank you for the information that you've been sharing. Will there be a different list that comes out for the program that's coming out Friday?
And for documentation purposes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No different list. What they've said in my last email, one of the emails that I sent to Averi, which I can get, I think they said that because it's self-employed, it's more difficult for you to prove your income, that they will even accept bank statements to show your proof that you've been paying yourself. But I will get that list again, and I will send that out to Averi one more time.
Okay, thank you.
Alicia and Jesse, what's the acronym PPP stand for? This is Marcus again, by the way.
It's Paycheck Protection Program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alicia, is it the same list that you sent me on Sunday? Is that what you're going to resend?
Yeah, so I'm just going to make sure, Averi, I've sent a few of them, and I know I've been having to update you quite a bit. So I'll just make sure I send the one that has the self-employed requirements documents in there.
Cool, thank you. And as soon as I have that, I'll go ahead and post it for everybody on our website as a new blog post. Okay. Any other questions?
No. Avery, did you get that stuff I sent you? Email?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
All right. Thank
And I
you.
would like to make one more comment. And I think you kind of pulled the panel of speakers together today that embodies this statement, that you should be contacting every single one of your trusted advisors right now, whether it be your accountant, your insurance professional, your lawyer, your banker, your lender, your landlord, your mortgage company.
Mhm.
You know, there are other reliefs out there right now where you may not have to pay your rent or your mortgage for a couple of months. And these are all conversations you should be having with, you know, people that you have business relationship with, people that you owe, people that you have, you know, deposit relationships with, et cetera. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, that leave no stone unturned with this process right now.
Yes, thank you, Jesse, for that, for sure. That I love all of that. Question from the group for Ms. McQuetta: what's offered again for nonprofits? Nonprofits can apply for all the SBA programs, correct?
Yes, they can. Nonprofits actually have a lower cost of funds. And I'll speak to the EIDL loan. I know the EIDL loan is at 3.5%, but nonprofits are at 2.5 or 2.75. I forget what it is, but there's a discount for nonprofits. And I believe nonprofits can also apply for the PPP.
Absolutely, they can. And if you're completing the application for nonprofits on the KeyBank online banking portal, it will ask you about your percent ownership, and they understand nonprofits have technically no owners. So you still go ahead and put the 100%. In the back end, they realize and know that it's a nonprofit, so they will go ahead and correct that before putting it into the SBA loan. But yes, you can absolutely take advantage. Nonprofits are eligible under this program.
Perfect, thank you. And I just posted the link to the Columbus Foundation Emergency Response Grants in the chat. So please share that with any nonprofit partners that you're aware of that may be out here doing work. They are on a rolling basis, and you can see a list of who's received those grants to date. But it's from social services through food access, you know. So Ms. McQuetta, especially with the women that you work with, depending on the services, if you're doing anything special for them right now to help them through this process, you probably want to look at that grant too. Alrighty, y'all. I want to keep this under an hour just so that we're respectful of everyone's time. And if there are no further questions,
I just got to.
everybody is.
Avery, thank you so much.
So you're subleasing.
Sorry, hold on.
You're a subtenant.
Go ahead, Denise.
Thank you so much for doing this, and thank Alicia and Sandra and Jesse too for sharing information that is changing moment by moment. But you all have added some clarity to what is going on out there.
Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what we want to achieve today. So we're gonna post this on our social media. So hope everybody's okay with that, because your face is on my video. And share it with your folks, please. Make sure that we want to make sure members or not, whatever, we need to make sure that all of our entrepreneurs and business owners and our people know about this information. And feel free to invite a colleague or anyone you think would like to hear this information in real time to our next one. What I'm asking though is that we don't post the meeting ID and password publicly, so that we can try to avoid getting bombed like all these poor people that get people hacking their Zoom calls. Yeah, but feel free to share it amongst our network and your peers. And yeah, I'm accessible. Most of you have my direct line. And then also the chamber line is here with me. I have the phone. So feel free to text, call 614-377-4874. 614-377-4874, as well as visiting our website, which is www.coaacc.org. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Stay healthy and sane. Try not to have cabin fever. If you go outside, wash off as soon as you get back in. Don't bring no germs to your house and to your families. But yeah, we'll make it through this, y'all.
Mhm.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.